Hey everyone, how's it going? I'm just jumping on before the episode starts to plug some dates that you'll be able to catch me performing stand-up around Brizzy and the Gold Coast this week. I'm thinking about jumping on before every episode now and doing this just because most of the time I get to the end of the episode and I've forgot to tell you guys where you can find me to tell my stupid little dick jokes. So you'll hear one of these before every episode, but we'll touch on it a little bit more next week, I reckon. But this week, you get me on Wednesday at the Atrium Bar at the Star Casino down the Gold Coast. That starts at 7, and then I'm shooting over to the Avenue at Surfers Paradise straight after that, which kicks off at 8. So that'd be sick to see any of you guys there. And then on Friday the 12th, I'm at the Mill Hotel at Spring Hill. That one kicks off at 7 p.m. So all three of those shows, I'm trying a couple of these new jokes that I've been talking about on here. So more than likely I'm going to bomb my dick off. So come and have a laugh at me or a laugh with me. Either way, it's going to be funny for you guys. And then also, just want to give a bit of a quick shout out to a company that's reached out this week, Towie Thongs. They're an Australian thong company. I think they sell some stubby coolers and all that as well. But yeah, I don't know about you guys, but every time I think about feet, I get a little bit toey. So go support these guys. They've supported us this week. They've been nice enough as well to give us a little discount code. So if you go to their website, type in TOEI15, that'll give you 15% off all their thongs and everything on the website at checkout. And yeah, let them know that we sent you. They also wanted us to let you know that they offer a subscription service for their thongs as well. So if you're like me and you forget to, if you have a blowout or something and you fucking spend the next 12 months in the same old pair of thongs, these guys have a subscription service where you can sign up and every month to 6 months, I think they said, they can send you out a new pair of thongs, which is fucking ideal. But anyway, go give those boys some love. They've given us a little bit of love, so support the boys and get ready for this week's episode. See you later.
You know exactly how they're going to sound in bed.
We're off to a cracker.
Yeah. Here's to the first drink.
Yeah.
I've only had one sip.
Cheers, off.
Yeah, cheers. Yeah. Thanks for coming, boys.
Cheers. Yeah, no,
we got Mick Wells and Luke Lewis here today. I guess we can introduce you as Diablos comedy as well. Is that how you guys are travelling these days?
Yeah, that is us.
Yeah,
me and my comedy wife as well.
Our couple name.
Yeah, nice, beautiful.
Yeah,
I finally pinned you down in the holidays while you aren't doing 6 million gigs every 2 minutes.
We decided to actively take a break.
Yeah,
we actually said 4 weeks. Fuck it. Look, this is.
Is that how long it's been? 4 weeks.
We're taking 4 weeks, so we finish mid-December and we go back and we open the 3-room Speed Jam. Mm-hmm. So we go Coomera Boathouse Monday night, 7 o'clock weekly, just near Dreamworld, and then we go Tuesdays we do Parkwood, which we start a little later there at 7:30.
Yep.
And then on Wednesdays we're doing the Pimp 'em Up event, which is beautiful.
Yeah,
beautiful. It's been a ripper, really.
Yeah.
I'd never been to that. I lived on the Gold Coast, grew up here, lived here, never been to Parkwood Tavern, right? Never been to Parkwood Tavern until we started doing comedy there, and it's fantastic. Yeah. It's such a good venue.
Yeah, all three venues are sick. The only one I'd been to prior to doing like a room for you guys was the Boathouse before.
Is that for the titty girls?
Was that for Poker
My
Tuesday?
parents listen to this.
That's for Poker Tuesday
So yes,
night.
it was.
Hi, James's mum.
Yeah.
Titty nights are Tuesday at the Skippy nights.
That was. I went there once for that and once for my old boss's birthday. So yeah,
Friday.
Yeah.
Have you ever got 5 minutes into one of these podcasts and someone's gone, I got to take a shit?
No, not yet.
Yeah.
You want to be the first?
Yeah, no. You were good. You got him toilet trained. You offered him straight up.
Yeah.
You looked at him straight away and thought, incontinence.
He needs to piss.
That 2 litre tray was a bastard.
You thought, painter, he's normally pissing against a wall.
Yeah, for sure. I have been curious of this because I know you're a painter. Mm-hmm. Are you a house painter, car painter? What kind of
house painter?
Yeah, okay, sweet.
Yeah,
I thought so because I remember a gig a couple months ago. You were in the back corner dropping eye drops in your eyes And I was like, you're like, there's pain in my eyes. And I'm like, must be a house painter just looking up.
Yeah, I was spraying and all the paint gets in your eyes. You can't wear goggles because the paint gets over the goggles and then it becomes a trip hazard
Yeah, right.
because you've fallen over everything.
When we renovated this house, it needs re-renovating now, but two things I said I'm never, because we did pretty much 90% of the work ourselves. I said I'm never doing tiling and I'm never doing painting again.
You were going to say both of those.
Yeah, they fucking suck.
Good decision.
Yeah. My wife ended up doing the tiling. So
Good girl.
yeah, I know.
Jeez.
Yeah.
You've got her trade.
Hey, I was doing it and her dad was a tiler.
Yeah.
And she's looking at me, she's like, that's not how you do it. And I'm like, well, fuck, show me how it's done. And then I'm just sitting behind her going, oh yeah, you're doing good.
You know how some
Next thing, the whole house was done.
Yeah, some
Like
people
your
have a
story with,
conversation where you,
with the giving birth. You're just sitting behind you. Yeah, doing good, love.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, sometimes you have a conversation with people and it's like, are they listening or are they actually just waiting to talk?
Mm-hmm.
You tell me your wife did the tiling. I'm just sitting here waiting to talk.
Yeah.
It's like, did you have to buy her knee pads or did she already own the set,
She
mate?
already had them. They're in our top drawer. Yeah.
Go on.
100%.
So you've got all this silk sort of marks on
Yeah.
your tiles.
100%. Yeah.
Jeez.
And you're a real estate agent by day.
Yeah, I actually worked for Ray White for 10 years. I've been a real estate agent for 20, but I worked for the same Ray White on the northern Gold Coast for like nearly 10 years.
Mm.
And just they had a few changes in their business, and one of the guys I worked with for a long time, like the entire time I was there.
Yep.
We were both sales managers. He passed away. He had leukemia and he passed away, which was pretty tragic.
Yeah, for sure.
And we just had a good thing, you know, when you work with people and you just you know, you'd like two pistons up and down and you'd
Exactly.
work together well. So he passed away literally Christmas Eve last year, and that probably gave me the impetus to have a big rethink just about life in general and what I wanted to do, and not because he had a family like I did. He had two young boys and he had a daughter from his previous marriage, and it was a very sort of it was just a solemn moment about wow, you know, tomorrow how many more sunrises he got, and it was a big rethink, and part of that definitely drove the decision just to go and hey, I'll set up, I'll go and work for myself, and I'll go and do what I want in my life.
Have
because
a crack,
how do you know?
Yeah, exactly.
How do you know?
It's crazy.
Not to be too serious about it, but genuinely, how the hell do you know?
100%. Yeah, it's crazy that it takes us a massive moment like that to just like get our ass into gear, so to speak, and just make it happen. Because that's basically why I started comedy and podcasting. Is like I wanted to do comedy since I was like 18 or so, or like realistically earlier than that, but 18 was when I could get into pubs and shit. And from when I was probably 16 to when did the last sort of biggish thing happen? I don't know. I've had little instances that I've spoken about on the podcast before, and that's why I called it "Can't Get Any Worse." Of little moments like, we had a home invasion here. I don't know if you guys have heard that story. Okay, people came into the house dressed as cops, had me and my wife on the floor, guns to our temples, blah blah blah. I'm trying to write a bit about it, but it's coming out too crazy.
You know what I think happened? His missus had strippers coming around, and then he was home. And she's like, it's a home invasion. Everyone in reverse.
100%.
Pretend it's a home invasion.
Yeah. And then the whole COVID thing happened, and that was my kick in the ass. Like I think a lot of people was to just go fucking, just have a crack. Like
have a crack.
Yeah. What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, for sure. But
well, I suppose for us, you know, while we're off having a crack, we it was on the M1. And just at the end of November, and doing it, you know, living the dream.
Yeah.
And a drunk driver nearly decided to end it all for us.
Yeah, it's a fucking. I saw the picture. So we spoke previously to the show. You've got this is so we get the guests to come with a "Can't Get Any Worse" story, right? Are you going to stick to Mick's story as well, or you're going to go with your separate one?
No, I'll go with mine, I think.
Okay, sweet. Well, let's go Mick's because we're already balls deep into it.
Well, it was 22nd November, right?
Yep.
And we're coming back from Pimpmar Wednesday night, comedy gig.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about, we finished up 9:30, so packed the gear and we're on our way. And we're on the M1, heading towards just past Dreamworld. And Luke and I are just chatting in the cars, me and him in the car, Gears in the car. And we're in the old lesbian special, the Subaru Forester.
Nice.
And
I love the stigma that car's got. Just
it's amazing.
Everyone knows that's the
it's
lesbian
amazing.
car.
They reckon one of the reasons that model did so well is because lesbians bought it.
Yeah.
Like they just thought, oh, well, I'm a lesbian now. I've got to buy a Subaru Forester.
Well, every time a car drives past us, someone's always looking in.
Oh,
Hey, look at those butch lesbians.
Yeah. They look at the passenger side and go, oh, Luke's transitioned. You know?
Yeah, hormone therapy.
He's gone the whole way.
Yeah.
He's gone the bearded warrior.
Yep.
So yeah, that's why he's
Titties
my
are
comedy
coming in.
wife.
Yeah.
Because we're in a Subaru Forester every time we go to comedy.
For sure.
But it just got shunted from behind, and it was like someone literally rammed us, and we're doing like 100 Ks, so I was put the governor on because I don't want speeding ticket, and 100 Ks, we just got rammed, and then we started swerving, and I just said to Luke, hold on, and I'm just trying to, we were in the left-hand lane,
Yep.
so I'm literally trying to just steer left, stay out of the other lanes, and then we're spinning.
Crazy.
So we're spinning, and we went around 2 or 3 times,
Yep.
and we've literally ended up just half off the pull-off lane,
Right.
and half in the left-hand lane we was in, and still.
Yeah.
And then so we're half off the road where you'd pull off, and there's 3 lanes of traffic just sort of flowing. You know, it was busy enough.
Yeah,
But
for
we
sure.
just didn't want to go out into the other lanes where
Yeah.
it might have been wiped out by a truck.
Yeah.
So we were lucky. So I'm looking at Luke, Luke's looking at me, I'm like, ooh, that was lucky. Stuck the hazard lights on, and then we thought, what the hell happened there? So we got out, walked about 80, 100 metres back down the highway,
Okay.
and there's a ute, a 2-seater ute in the ditch, and there's a dude stuck to the steering wheel like this, and I saw a P plate, and I'm like, oh, it's only a young kid, and so I said to Luke, you're all right, and then we got out, got this kid, and I said, hey mate, you're all right, and he was clearly in shock, and I said, what's your name, and he told me his name, and his car was still running, and he's about 4 to 6 feet deep in a ditch on wet grass and mud, so he's literally landed on a marshmallow.
Yeah.
The car looked like it wasn't
Yeah.
wrecked
Yeah.
in any way other than obviously where it
Stuck.
struck us. And I said, you all right? I said, you're in shock, mate. Turn your car off. Just turn your car off. You know, it's fuel leaking or whatever. So turn your car off. Turn the car off. And he's just gone, my life's fucked. And I'm like, well, from where I'm looking, mate, you're in one piece. And he goes, no, I missed my depression appointment this week. I thought, oh, okay. Well, that's pretty fucked up, mate. You hit us.
Yeah.
But anyway, no worries. Let's just focus on the fact that we're all here. I said, mate, I reckon you ought to buy a Tatslotto ticket. You're here.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's coming from the guy that you hit.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, no, it's fucked.
Nick was afraid he was going to run out in front of traffic.
Yeah, I literally.
Oh,
I
right.
was ready to
Yeah,
It was that
so
bad.
So the
Yeah.
tow truck driver said, he's about 60 kilos wet. I said, come on, mate, get out of your car, take the keys out of your car. And he goes, no, I've got to get out of here. And he's like, and I said, mate, you're not driving anywhere. I knew he couldn't drive
Yeah.
regardless. And I said, come on, mate. And he got out of the car, threw his keys over on his passenger seat. And then the tow truck drivers turned up, the ambos turned up. And I said to the ambos, he doesn't sound right. And I was worried about him doing something to hurt himself. Suffice to say, Luke was a bit less sympathetic.
Yeah.
To him. He'd just
That's what I'm thinking as you're saying this. Like,
he-
you seem to be the nicest guy to run into.
well, I don't know about that, but I had more sympathy than Luke.
Yeah.
Luke was more along the lines, and I don't want to
I
quote
had a
his
sore
exact
back from
words.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he had a sore side. He was all stretched
Yeah.
and out of shape about the idea that he was going home late and still have to get up early to paint.
Yeah, yeah, right.
So
Go get
he was
paint in
like,
your eyes.
He was like, nah, fuck him. He hit us. Yeah. And I said, well, you know, we're all alive. That's the main thing. Then the police turned up, and then his dad turned up. And that was the best part because that explained everything.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, his dad walks up to him and punches him in the face. Like, this scene just turned into, like, The Sopranos real quick.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've gone, what the... And anyway, so the tow truck driver's gone, his fucking old man's hit him. And I've gone... Anyway, so I've walked up to his old man. He's only a short little bloke, and he kind of looked like... Give him another 100 years, and he looked like Gimli from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
he's on his way, but he wasn't.
Yeah.
He was in his immature stage of being Gimli. That's what he described him looking as.
Prepubescent.
Yeah, you pubescent Gimli from Lord of the Rings. And I said, mate, he's just been through a car crash. And he goes, oh, I'm going to fucking kill him. And I went, mate, he's your son. And I said, that's coming from the bloke he hit. He goes, nope, I'm going to fucking kill him. And I turned to him and said, Father of the Year, and just walked off.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, we just stayed away then.
Fucking hell.
Belted him.
Didn't even he got to the scene, didn't ask for a story or anything, just straight in, bang.
So we exchanged details with the copper at this stage.
Yep.
And he had a P plate on. And I also said to Luke, I said, I think he's on something.
Okay, yep.
And so the cops tested him, Anyway, he'd been drink driving. He blew numbers.
Yeah.
And so the cops arrested him. Well, the next day on Facebook, Marcus Thorpe sent us this link that was on Facebook bulletin story.
Yeah.
And it just, he just put in our names and just tagged us.
Yeah, yeah.
And it said that they arrested him. A young drunk driver allegedly was arrested after a crash on the M1.
There was no alleged.
Yeah.
And well, it's for the papers, and allegedly, and then allegedly we're good comedians, mate, if it was in the GC bulletin, it'd be allegedly we're comedians. But, and it also said that he got that angry that he ripped the door handle off the inside of the cop car.
Yeah, right.
So
okay.
he was in this depressive little shock mode, and then once they arrested him in the car, he let out his inner millennial. He just his anger at the world and just ripped the door handle off the cop car. So
crazy shit.
Yeah, so he had to go to court, and the worst thing is, the car was insured for about 25 grand.
Yep.
25 grand car.
This is your one, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, yep.
I don't know what the average earning of the typical Australian lesbian is, but the car's 25 grand. When I bought
Luckily for you, that's our target audience.
Bunnings workers.
Yeah.
That's why Luke's here.
Yeah.
He's absolutely
Exactly.
dyke bait, this guy. He's full-blown dyke bait. And,
Funny you should say that.
look at him.
Yeah.
He's dyke bait.
I've got a heap of lesbian friends. Heap of lesbian friends.
Do you?
Yeah, it's because
I can name
I'm
two.
friendly.
I can name two occasions you've been propositioned by lesbians last year. One said you've got a great dad bod. I won't name her. I won't embarrass her. But she said you've got a great dad bod. I'd love to give it a run.
You said, oh, that's right.
Yeah, you won't embarrass her either.
Yeah, let's keep it that way.
Yeah, but the
It was an easy transition. Titties and a cock.
yeah, look at you trying to put them all back on solids, mate. Just against the Subaru Army. So so what happened is $25,000 car.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, they said it's Subaru. Parts got to come from Japan. It's going to take months. Here's a hire car, and they said the repair's going to be a week later. They said the repair's going to be 10 grand,
Fuck.
and then the hire car. It happened 22nd November, and they said we're not going to get it done till the 22nd of January. I thought 2 months hire car, a couple $100 a day. That's probably about 10 grand a month.
Yeah.
And it's 9 grand a month or something, It's
Yeah.
still $300. And then I thought, because they gave me a brand new car,
Yeah.
and then I thought, why wouldn't you write it off? Anyway, I've just been told it's 22nd of February now.
Yeah, right.
So I've had a hire car. I'm going to have a hire car for 3 months and a 10 grand repair on $25,500 car.
That's nuts.
And he's not insured because he's void because he's a drink driver.
Yeah.
He played.
Yeah.
He played it with alcohol. So
Yeah. So I fucking, whenever this is another one of my can't get anywhere stories. This is the other big one that I think I mentioned to you when you told me about this story originally. So I was at one stage that dickhead P-plater, and I fucking still to this day hate myself for it. But long story short, because again I've touched on it on this podcast multiple times, I got sent away for work up near Emerald, and we were there for a week, right? We went back to our tents. Our boss had us sleeping in tents, and there was torrential rain. We got back to our tents. There was 3 inches of water over our mattress. So the tradie I was with was fucking incoherent. He couldn't even speak or anything. And then I go, well, he's not going to drive, so I'm going to have to fucking start driving the truck back. And about 3 hours into the journey, a kangaroo jumps out on the fucking road. I've swerved to miss it and rolled my boss's brand new work truck.
ooh.
Yeah, the cops got there. So the tradie obviously woke up then going, what the fuck? Somehow got it back up on its wheels and got it bogged, much like old mate, off the side of the road. And we've just got out with our dustpans and shit, and we've started trying to dig the tyres out. And I've just heard sirens speeding down the highway. I'm like, fuck, just laid back in the mud.
Yeah.
But yeah, they like
Who'd you piss off to have to go to Emerald?
I was the apprentice. I was the cheapest. that was the other fuck part. Again, I'm not taking anything away from what I did. I fucking own it. But the boss sent us up there with a completely overloaded truck. So if I got pulled up on the way up, I would have been fucked as well.
You would have got a ticket.
Yeah. And also, I was coming back that Saturday, and he was sending me back to Emerald on the Sunday because I was the apprentice. I was the cheapest and fucking blah, blah, blah. Long story.
Wow.
Yeah. So I ruined that little plan for him. He ended up having to pay a tradie to go up there and finish my shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, same deal, sort of. Thought I
Did
was.
that end your apprenticeship?
ended everything. Ended
Yeah.
my apprenticeship, lost my license. Same deal. I thought I was fucked.
Done.
Parents obviously weren't stoked with me, but Dad didn't punch me in the face.
So
There's-
you drink
there's a
driving?
bonus.
I got done for low range. I think I was .006, I think.
Yeah.
So, and I was on my P, so I couldn't legally have anything anyway.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
So lower than Lindsay Lohan.
yeah, for sure, 100%. Surprisingly, my dad was less pissy at me for that than when I crashed the VK Commodore that he fucking got me for my first car.
Because
Understand.
he had to pay for one of them,
yeah,
not the truck.
yeah. Well, same deal. I wasn't covered by insurance because I was a drink driver. So for the next year or so, I had his insurance company calling me, going, "How are you going to pay for a fucking $80,000 truck?" And I'm like, "I lost my apprenticeship. I lost fucking everything. I got nothing." And then, yeah, just fizzled away.
What, they didn't chase it?
Nah, I eventually re-got an apprenticeship, all that, a couple months later. I called them back and I go, "Look, I've got a job now. Can we set up a payment plan, blah, blah, blah?" And they're like, what's your customer number? And I'm like, "I'm not sure because it's with my old boss." And they're like, "Well, we can't do anything without a customer number." And I'm like, "Well, I'm calling you to try and arrange something. Are you going to call me tomorrow and say you want it?" And they're like, "Oh, we can't say." And then never heard from them again
Interesting.
until now.
So if times get tough, you're just going to get a random call from an insurance company
Yeah.
and say, "We're scratching for money here.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
found your old file."
Yeah, exactly.
How long ago was that?
2011. Yeah, so
7 years have passed.
yeah,
Yeah.
You're in the clear.
I'm in the clear. I'm good. So now,
Statute of limitations.
yeah. So now,
Look
it's,
at you two bush lawyers.
yeah,
I bet they're both wrong.
yeah, exactly.
Oh, good
But
luck.
yeah, fucking crazy shit. So I sort of know how that kid feels, but again, he was a fucking dickhead for doing it.
He
So
was.
yeah, what's your story over there?
My story.
I'm
Before
intrigued.
you go to your story,
Yeah.
I just want to say how much you've learnt your lesson, because you've got this magic wall of piss in your garage. Like, you can't see it on the podcast, but he literally has Donald Trump's wall that to keep the Mexicans out, made completely of alcohol bottles that are semi-full or full.
Yeah, I've
He's learnt his lesson, folks.
I was about to say, and no tequila, but there is a one.
yeah. There's tequila over there. I'm not much of a tequila. I want to get into tequila because I've heard it's like the healthier fucking spirit.
You're
But
you're like the alternative to Mona. You've got the wall of cunts down there, and here you've got the wall of piss.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't know why. I just started when I was like, I don't know, 17 or so.
When you finish your apprenticeship.
Yeah, exactly. What am I going to do now?
Speaking of Mamone,
yeah.
how is that battle going?
I think we've somewhat buried it. He's coming on in a couple of weeks,
Is he?
apparently.
Is
So
Oh, did you say you buried the hatchet with Mamone
possibly.
and the Northern Rivers boys?
Possibly.
Scotty Fowler.
He seems to have kept his little mouth quiet down there for a little bit now.
He
So
knew what was best for him.
yeah, exactly.
I think we rev him up again, didn't we?
Well, do you think his name actually is Mamone?
No,
Because
well-
if someone from Melbourne moves to Byron Bay, they always change their name, don't they?
Yeah.
To
Well,
make themselves sound more spiritual.
yeah.
You know,
Dur-
it's probably
during
Paul Jones.
it probably is. During the whole conflict on here, I was calling him Paul Momoa and Scotty Flowers.
Wow.
So
Is that the best you can do? I think we can do better.
yeah. What do you
Hey,
got?
Mamone, if you're listening,
He is.
nah.
He listens
James
every week.
challenges you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
James challenges you, Mamone, to a shuffle off.
Yeah, to a shuffle off.
I say that they both start at one end of the wall of piss and try and drink their way to the middle to see who wins.
Yeah,
That's right.
let's fucking do it. I think listening to his podcast, I think he was on a little stint of sobriety for a little bit, but we can crack him.
The wall of piss will fix you, Mamone.
I'll lock that door
Well,
when he
you've
gets
seen
in
his
here.
TV ad, haven't you? Or the YouTube ad where he's licking the toad?
Is that his TV series he did?
Yeah,
No, no, I haven't watched it yet. I want to watch it.
No, you
but
gotta watch it.
Yeah, I'll watch
He's just
it.
gone natural because he's Byron Bay.
And the truth is, we actually like Paul Mamone.
Yeah.
We had him on our, we had him on the big show at Helensvale. He was, he did good.
Yeah, he's a fucking top bloke. I had him. He was the MC for my second show at the Rum Distillery because fucking, I just love the way he like can just riff with the crowd sort of
Yeah.
thing. Like he can almost get up with no set and just still have an amazing set.
I think he should film the next series of Haters Hill in front of the wall of piss.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's it. We've got a set piece here for you.
definitely. I had a little fun fact to present to you two.
Go on.
So back when
Luke's going to tell his story.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're still going to get to that. Well, now that we're fucking balls deep in this one. Yeah. So, fun fact for both of you: Luke Lewis was the first person that I ever spoke to in the comedy community. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah. So you were both actually. Nah. So I probably 3 months before I even did a gig, I came down. I saw there was open mic at the Saltwater Creek Hotel down at Hornsvale.
Okay.
Oh, that's shit.
And I think you might have been on the show as well,
I was on the
possibly.
show.
Yeah.
I brought the audience that night.
Well, that's the other thing.
All 11 of them. Yeah.
Oh, it must have been a different night. Because
less was there?
Yeah, there was me and then a table of two, and that was
three gigs happened there, and then they canned it.
Yeah, because
it was only a couple.
I basically came just to see what the comedy scene was like, and I just ended up being every comedian just talking to me, and I'm like, fuck. And I was like shy and like I'm still shy and awkward, but fucking I hated it.
From now on, I'm going to say, Luke, this is all your fault.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Every time I'm bombing down at fucking somewhere, you can look at him and go, "This is because of you." Yeah.
We have a little tab running. You've prompted a conversation there. We have a little tab running. Luke, I say how many rooms Luke's killed.
Really?
Yeah. And there's one in
not killed at.
Yeah,
that would be impossible.
Yeah, he's going to jinx it. But like every time we've done a room where it's then finished up, and Luke was the MC at the cave-in for at Wollongabba.
I caused the cave-in.
Yeah, the cave-in.
Caved it in, yeah.
And Julio was running the gig, and Luke was MCing. I dropped him off, went to another gig, and by the time I'd come back, he'd killed the room.
Yeah.
Good effort.
Well, the audience was from the dance studio next door.
Okay.
All Brazilian. They're like, we don't speak much English. Yeah. And I'm up there talking about dick pics and all sorts. What's relatable? What can be universal?
Amber Heard.
Yeah.
Amber Heard shitting on Johnny Depp's bed.
Yeah.
They understood that.
Yeah.
It was three or four Latinos, 4 people who were in their 80s, and then a transgender barmaid.
Yeah.
That was it.
Did we blame you for the centenary? Did you kill the centenary?
No, because it went a couple more
with Liam
without me. So
were you there when the Waterloo died? See, we just
as
I said,
Waterloo was my first gig.
We keep hitting dead rooms on Luke. You're a jinx. You killed rooms.
Yeah.
So I liked the Waterloo. That was actually a fun little gig.
It was,
but can't say clitoris or orgasm.
No, orgasm.
Can't you?
Orgasm.
No, what happened is we ran the Waterloo for Liam one night because he was away.
Okay.
So we ran it, and the manager left to run it was about 19.
Okay.
Barely legal, and nice little girl. And then they had a shift manager who was about 22, and his name was Dylan.
Okay.
And Dylan thought he was Patrick Swayze from Roadhouse because a customer complained, and he come over mid-show and he goes to me, got to pull him in and have a chat. And I said, Dylan, I think the train's left the station, mate. I said, we're mid-show.
Yeah.
And he goes, no, we've had a complaint, got to have a talk to him. And I said, what's happened? And he goes, a lady come out to pay a tab on the way through from the bistro, and she heard the word orgasm. And I said, orgasm? I said, obviously offended her. And he goes, yeah. I said, well, mate, strap in, because if that bothered her, I said, it's about to get real.
Yeah.
I said, if orgasm's the word, he goes, it's got to be a line somewhere. And I said, an orgasm's it. Yeah. And I just did everything to stop cracking up in his face.
Yeah, for sure.
And what kind of woman hates an orgasm?
Yeah, exactly.
If she hung around, she could have had multiple.
Exactly. Did you say you're just lucky the fat dad from Logan isn't here to talk about fingering his dog tonight?
With his ice bath.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah. What's this ice bath I hear about?
Ice bath? I've been starting to have ice baths. Yeah, trying to improve my health a little bit.
So you ice your body, and he ices rooms, comedy rooms.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But
and you just both feel better about it.
Yeah. Yeah, after that show finished, I started walking back to my car, and I was like, oh, fuck, if I don't go and just dip my toe in, I'm never going to do it. So I came back, and you were rolling up leads or something, and I had a little chat to you. So, yeah.
I reckon it's one way to fix those surf rats from Byron Bay is challenge them to an ice bath. Who stays in longer?
Yeah, I've got him.
And do the podcast while you're doing it.
I've got him.
Yeah, so Flowers and Mamone, he's like, they get in their ice bath with their robe, and you get in your ice bath, and then like literally who can last longer?
I think they do different ice baths down that way, don't they?
Yeah.
They do, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what they empty it into when the cops turn up.
Yeah, definitely.
Like that mad scene from Goodfellas.
So that's how you got into comedy.
That's how I got into comedy. Yeah, did my first gig probably 2 or 3 months after that at the Waterloo when James Hansen ran it.
Well, mine was I went to Tune Up, right? That was I didn't know comedy was on. Me and mate were pissed out of our brains.
Yeah.
Went to Tune Up, walked in, and it's open mic comedy, and I'm just sitting there watching it going, these guys are shit. You give it a go. So I gave it a go, like not that night, but a couple of weeks later, I was shit.
Yeah.
It's harder
It's
than
crazy,
it
yeah.
looks, isn't it? Yeah, you think, fuck, I make my mates laugh at the pub.
Yeah.
Nothing like it.
It's an insane fucking skill, isn't it? Because same deal at the saltwater. Like I was watching some people get up and they were just like the shit they were saying just wasn't funny at all. And I'm sitting in my chair and I'm like, oh, I should get up. And I'm like, what the fuck am I going to say? That like,
What was that young guy that did Helen's Park? I think it's Ben McKechnie. He's a young guy,
McKechnie.
and he does acting and stuff.
Yeah.
But really, like he went. The nerves got to him,
Yeah.
and it was the first time I'd ever seen a comedian bomb their dick off, and and the nerves get to him really badly. And it was poor old Ben. And what happened is he just reminded me of that scene with Arthur Fleck in The Joker, you know, where he's right in the middle of it and he's loving it, and everyone else is like, oh, this guy's on his way to being a serial killer. And I felt for him because you know that he's a good, kind-hearted guy, Ben.
Yeah, definitely.
But I remember feeling fear about the whole thing for the first time, and I'd been doing it for a few years.
We were scared he was going to...
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and it's just like, wow. It was real fear of like saying, like, that's how bad it could be.
Yeah.
And then you go, he did his best.
Yeah.
You realise after you go, you don't know any of these people, or very few.
What was that guy...
They write it off.
What was that guy that did Raw before you?
Oh yeah, the naked guy. He did the voice like he was Andy Kaufman or something. And
true.
I walked up to the stage and just caught out of the corner of my eye, in my head, as I looked to the right, he's there in a bath towel on stage, and I thought, no, he wasn't. And I've gone up to the backstage, and then there's clothes on the floor, and Katrina Davison is cowering in the corner in the fetal position near sucking her thumb because she's had to share a 1 metre square space behind the stage with Naked Man as he's got undressed. And I looked at her and mouthed to her and said, that guy's naked, isn't he? And she goes, yeah. And I've gone, wow. And then I've gone, oh, how do I find a space in your 1 square metre over there while he comes out past us both? How do I avoid having this bloke touch me? You know? Like,
at least you can tell when he thinks he's had a good set.
yeah, true. And the best, like he nearly killed the sit down, you know, and not quite.
Was he completely Starkers?
Yeah, with a towel. Yeah.
Okay, right. So he left the towel on. I thought he must have walked, once he walked through the curtain, and dropped the towel. This is me.
No, I thought he was going to. But anyway, I went on straight after him. And I thought, oh, well, it's really hard to top that last act. And I just started unbuttoning my shirt.
Yeah.
And I got a laugh for that, which was good. But, I mean, it's not part of your Raw set. But really, I got to admit, it threw me a little bit.
Yeah.
But,
it would.
But it was just like, oh.
Yeah.
Even if I'm awful, that was just weird.
I've
never seen him since either.
My Raw heat.
Once.
I've never seen him since.
Raw heat this year. I don't know if you guys heard the whispers, but I was in the heat where one of the guys dropped the N-bomb at sit down.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's the first place I've seen, like, obviously they're all over it. So he was having an awful set and saying some he obviously didn't read the Brisbane comedy rules before he fucking got up.
Didn't read the Bible.
And it was already like tiptoeing, and then he drops the N-bomb, and sit down has just cut the sound, cut the lights, like the place just went pitch black. And I was like...
Was he black?
No, white. Drunk, older white man. And like...
Really?
Yeah.
Edgelord.
Yeah, that's what he said. He's
just old racist.
Yeah. He started going around going, people don't know comedy, blah blah blah. And I felt bad for who was on after EJ Mann was on after him, and he's once they've cut the lights, he's come back past the curtains crying, and she's had to like comfort him before she's gone up for her. That would
set. Be EJ. She'd be that good. She'd be that good as a human
being too. I think it was EJ, maybe. Yeah. Anyway. And then you were the first person to ever record one of my sets. And I think it was like my second or third set, which
Yeah.
I still to this day am too scared to watch back.
Yeah.
It's probably buried in your phone one day. If I ever do make it, you can go look at this.
I generally deleted them for the room, but I used to just airdrop them to the comics if they wanted them for their own feedback.
Yeah.
I don't record people now without saying that if you want
without their permission.
I've watched back one of my first ever sets. It was my Raw set, so I did Tune Up twice, then did Raw.
Okay.
Right, and I'm dropping these jokes about. They're pretty graphic, like you get up there and before you work out how comedy works.
Exactly, yeah.
And I'm dropping these jokes about a lady on what's that TV show? Embarrassing Bodies.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, lady had 2 vaginas.
Okay.
Right? And I'm talking about that, and this table over here, guys are laughing. But I look down in front of me, and there's a table of say 40, 50-year-old women, and they're pearl clutching. Like looking at me like mouths open, and that just killed me. Like I was fuck, and I gave up comedy for about 2 months after that.
True.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. I'm so glad I'm like it still sucks to bomb, but I'm glad I'm somewhat at the point where I can touch on some new material, and if it doesn't work, then fucking whatever. Here comes the dog.
Embryo. With the running rooms, we found that embryo is that people go, my mate told me I was funny, or I'm funny at parties, and that is somewhat of a spark to get into it.
Yeah, definitely.
And they're very sensitive at that point. So what we try to do is we utilise the boathouse. Probably the best way this way is we normally give people 10-minute spots. So I've driven down from Brisbane, or they've driven to get there.
Yeah,
we like to give people 10-minute spots so they can really explore their material. That's a great place to spawn new material.
100%.
There's a few cheeky tradies there that'll give you back, but there's no malice in the boathouse.
It's an awesome place. Awesome place to try new material.
Yeah, and so what we'll try and do is if we haven't seen them before, that's probably the place we'll give people 5, and it's good for them to know, even watching this, I guess, is that, that's a great place to try and get 5 to get you started.
For sure.
And yeah, but we do see a lot of young comics now record their material and try and put it up on YouTube and things. And I think I'm only one opinion. Everyone's got one, I'm sure. But I would think it's not the idea necessarily to put your stuff up early days. It's just use it as feedback.
Yeah.
Until you're comfortable that what you're producing is nothing against recording it, but what you're producing is actually reasonably. It's got a good 30-second cut in it or something. And part of that reason is probably selfish even, is because sometimes our branding goes with that. We've seen some videos go up and our own branding's on, and we're like, well, based on this, if we had our way, we'd say no one record. Now, we don't want to stop that. We don't want to bring in rules, and the more rules aren't necessarily better, but we just say, hey, like Brad Pearson did a cracking riff, and it was about... There was this woman who was about 60 plus, and ghost white blonde hair, and he just threw this line out, and he goes, "Oh, where did Crack Barbie go?" And the whole joint just erupted. There was probably 30 people in there, and they just erupted. And she was off the show.
Yeah,
like it wasn't alcohol. It was something more. Yeah. And he just said, "Oh, where'd Crack Barbie go?" And it just went off. And he used that little snippet on his promo.
I think I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, and it was great. It was a great little promo, and again, it had the branding on it, and you're like, no worries.
Yeah.
A genuinely good clip he produced for himself.
Yeah.
And had us in the background. So we were like, yeah, cool. But a lot of that falls down when people are doing the first 2 gigs, and then they want to put it on the net and it's like what you're actually doing is probably burning your support.
Yeah.
Potentially, because they look at you and go, ooh.
I'm so glad I haven't posted any jokes yet. And I've said it on the podcast before that this year I want to try and post a little bit here and there, just because still to this day, I'm sure you guys experience, they're like, oh, send us one of your jokes. And it's like, come and fucking watch one of my sets. It's completely different to watch a video on your phone and go, oh, James is a fuckhead.
Yeah.
But if you're in the atmosphere of a room and other people are laughing, you're like, oh, fuck, James...
Yeah. I preface this story by saying this, though, that we're about to release something on this podcast. We're about to release some material and make a little announcement on this podcast. So
the OnlyFans everyone's been asking for.
Well, that's the one Luke's been talking about. The one he makes no money out of, that he started during the pandemic. Oh, yeah. Where is equality,
Well, all I've been doing is squishing dog food with my feet. and just having it ooze through my toes. You'd be surprised how many people watch
You
it.
would be surprised.
I do notice you've got a shinier coat.
I do.
Looks like you're having a seizure over there.
Yeah, you have to. Well, that's the thing. I'm getting you on the next one because I need worming.
Advice. He
Fuck
needs
yeah.
advice on women. But yeah, we are about to release this. We are going sketch comedy. We've made a little sketch and aptly named it "The Devil Made Me Do It."
Yep.
And so we're going to be releasing episode 1 exclusively on Can't Get Any Worse.
That's it.
Podcast
The place to release shit.
with the
I
great,
think
with the
it's
great
so
James Smith.
so cheesy, so corny. It makes it great.
Yeah, I laugh at shit like that for sure.
Should we explain the premise a little?
Explain the premise, and then we can watch the video if you like.
Well, in staying,
I'd just like to just quickly say we still haven't got to Luke's story, which I'm dying to hear. But let's do this.
okay.
So I don't want us to call the episode before we get Luke's story.
Well, my word counts up after this. Clearly, I've been told. But yeah, no. Essentially, the premise is that we are one of us is God and one of us is the devil.
Okay.
And we won't say which is which because that will ruin a great surprise.
Yeah.
And the premise of it is that as God and the devil, we're reviewing 2023 and obviously the in memoriam list of dead celebrities.
Yeah.
And roll the tape.
All right, let's go. Let me get this up. You know what I should have done before? Check that I've got it connected to the old Roadcaster over here.
Been a big year. Class of 23.
Is your son still turning water into wine?
Yeah, my son made this for me.
When did he become a winemaker?
Dunno. He disappeared for 3 days over Easter. I just assumed he was at a training course.
So come on, 2023, who'd you get?
Tina Turner.
What? But I've got Ike already.
Exactly. Who did you get?
Henry Kissinger. Been sweating on that one for quite a while. Also got a couple of those billionaires from that Titanic tour.
What did they say?
I couldn't actually understand them, you know. They said the same thing as that guy from Friends.
Huh, what was that? Oh, fuck.
It's so bad, it's so good.
I love it.
And there you have it, the corniest piece of shit ever. And when we look back from episode 105 to episode 1, we'll go, what the fuck were we thinking?
Same thing with this podcast. Like,
That should be on a t-shirt, you know.
You was God. I actually
I've got
found
one as Jesus. So I should show that.
yeah.
Not on the show though.
I for sure thought Luke was going to be the devil,
Yeah. No.
but I like how you bait and switched me there.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
No, I like that. That's funny. So how many of them have you got banked? Did you say?
Oh, we
That
got
one just-
got that one
yeah.
We've got
two.
we've got four in the one,
in the can. Yeah.
but that's the one we're releasing.
Yeah. Nice.
So
Sweet.
far. And if we kill it at one, then maybe it'll spurn us on to do more. And if we bomb our dick off, that'll be where we just put it in mothballs for a couple of months.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's worth having a crack. Like it's crazy the amount of things that go viral just out of nowhere at the moment. Like,
Well, we literally that took us. What you're looking at is 1 minute. Took us 4 hours.
yeah.
Because we had to buy all this shit and dress each other up in my
molested by
garage on the green
mosquitoes.
screen.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
It's the same with this podcast. Like the amount of work and effort that goes into it that people don't understand, I guess. Like just the hours of editing and then the social media clips and all that shit just takes so long. And it's like, oh,
I think the outtakes would be pretty funny because in the end we were getting eaten by mosquitoes in my garage. Yeah.
Yeah.
We opened the door to let a bit of breeze in, and the mosquitoes came with it. And the Luke goes, "I'm fucking getting eaten here. We've got to finish this up." It was, yeah.
Like you're trying to read a line and next minute.
It's the only time Luke's complained about getting eaten.
Pretty much, yeah.
Anyway, it can't get any worse, Luke. You can roll the go.
oh yeah. You
yeah,
want,
yeah,
yeah. Let's fucking.
All right, this one goes all the way back to 1979. I was 3 years of age, living in the south coast of New South Wales.
Okay.
I remember it, all right, like it was yesterday. All right. So I was down the beach with my parents, being in a coastal town, nude, as you do when you're a kid. And we had this river mouth that would block up with sand, so it's all fresh kind of water in this river mouth.
Yep.
and I'd always chase these toadfish. Anyway, I dug this hole out of the side of the sand, chased this toadfish in, and as soon as I got the toadfish in, I've jumped down and gone, ha-ha, caught ya, like legs spread. And this toadfish is just like turned, looked at me and just charged like a great white shark.
True.
And bit me on the dick.
Really?
Bit me on the dick.
Fuck.
The Rolf Harrises of toadfish.
Absolutely. SeaWorld, look out.
Free Willy.
Yeah. Bit me on the dick. I jumped up, screamed. I can't remember if it was still attached when I jumped up. But it fucking hurt, right? And I'm pretty sure that's when I was circumcised.
Yeah.
Circumcised by a toadfish.
Yeah. And the stupid thing is, I did it twice.
What? Are you serious?
I did it twice. And then
How'd you get it off first? Your parents?
No, it just bit and sweat.
Oh,
off.
just
yeah. It's not
catch
like
and release.
It's not like a movie where I'm running around with a toadfish
That's what I
attached to the
thought.
dick just hanging off.
Yeah.
That would make
helicopter.
a great skit.
Yeah.
The devil made me do it.
Twice.
Oh, I need a good sized bass now. Yeah, man, but twice it bit me on, and after the second time, my mother actually hit me.
Yeah.
Knocked the fetish out of me before it started.
Nice.
And now when he's naked at the beach, he won't corner anything smaller than a barramundi.
Nah, exactly.
Fucking hell.
Nothing toothed.
Yeah, that's
Watering those eels again, are we? Yeah.
Remember those big Billy Bass? You press a button and start singing?
Yeah.
Had that taken off me too.
For sure, yeah. Why you got to play that every time we make love?
Song, right.
Fucking one of my mum's favourite stories to tell, and it's like it's not even a good story, but she loves it. Apparently, when I probably would have been similar age. I had this toy train set that used to go around. Apparently, I was sitting there starkers one day, and my dick must have flopped on the train track.
Of course, yes.
Because it's so fucking big, you know.
You had the big train tracks.
Yeah. To this day, I'm like, how did that thing reach the train track?
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah.
Probably it used to.
Yeah. Apparently, the train ran over it and got all tangled in the wheel, and I started screaming and shit. Yeah. Mum had to put it in reverse to get it out.
Every time you have those YouTube videos where people get stuck on train tracks, you're like, oh.
Yeah. Just played that one in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, I've had my foreskin caught in a zip.
Yeah,
Oh.
done that, been there.
Yeah, that was painful, but a fucking train.
Yeah, I don't think I'd cope. I think I don't know how people hurt their dicks and I just carry on with life.
Oh, the old kick it in the dick comedic.
He's
Kick
got-
it in the dick, but then there's literally people that take that literally.
Oh yeah. Fuck.
James has now got a fetish too. What did I
Train.
tell you? That's right. Choo choo.
Yeah, I can't catch the 11:30 to Brisbane without coming anymore.
Can't look down without saying this is choo choo.
Yeah.
Oh fucking hell!
Yeah. Blow some smoke, baby.
Another question I had: where did the Diablos come from? Just something you both agreed on, or?
It's Spanish for the devil,
Yeah.
which is where the emblem come from. My sister's an artist,
Right.
and she actually hand drew that logo.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sweet.
she actually hand draws all our artwork.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and
That's
so
the
we've
inspiration.
run that devil theme through Buzz Off and so forth. Yeah, and then we've finished it off with graphic art, the surrounding stuff. But yeah, the devil logo, every iteration, that including the boathouse and all of the Buzz Off stuff, it's all been hand drawn.
Yeah. Okay.
We started doing our podcasts that we haven't released before we started doing comedy rooms. So that's what we thought. Podcast, Devil made us do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the devil knows.
Yeah, and that's where
That'll be the name.
And that's
when
where
yeah.
Diablos came from. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, so the devil. But yeah, she hand drew that and everything. So
Yeah, that's cool.
That's ended up on everything. The business cards that we ordered a couple of shirts early days because we were keen. And
Yeah.
And then we busted out of the box at Sunnybank and had dragged 100 people into that theatre and sold out our first gig, which was really happy about. But now we're turning 2.
Yeah. 2
officially.
years now, is it?
In February it is.
Yeah, right.
Even though we did our first gig in October, we had everything prepped and done and had all the podcasts still in the can. We've still got about 25 podcasts we haven't released, and we may well do this year. So
Yeah.
we've been talking about.
I think we'd have to go back and redo them because we've.
But we like
aged.
the
Comedy
big.
is aged.
Yeah.
It looks so
It's
two different-
such even sometimes I'll be like on a rant on here, and I'll be like, fuck, if anyone in the comedy community heard what I'm saying now, it'll damage me, so to speak. Like,
How could it? What could you possibly say that would damage you? I've just spoken about a fish biting me in the dick twice.
yeah, exactly.
And you get up and talk about fingering dogs.
Yeah, I know.
This is the man who gets up and talks about fingering dogs.
It took me so long to perfect that joke as well, to get people to laugh at it.
It
Imagine bombing for like a year on that joke, just going, I know there's something here, and just going,
Just
like,
can't quite put my finger on
yeah,
it.
Or in it.
exactly. No, and actually, the only time that, and I love giving him his fucking praise when I can, but Rob Brown, that ran a room out in Ipswich, he pulled me aside one night and he goes, oh, maybe you should, because the dog joke went a completely different way, and he's like, why don't you try this way? Did it a couple nights later in a direction he said, and fucking like crushed, and I'm like, oh, thank God. Like, but yeah, I knew.
Did you finger Rob Brown to like?
Yeah, okay, thanks, mate. Yeah, here's a seizuring tablet.
Yeah.
Don't do it that way. Do it this way.
You mentioned circles.
Yeah. You mentioned before one of my favourite show to do for the Diablos boys is Buzz Off. I've done it twice now.
Yeah, it's coming back in 24 too.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fuck yeah. I love that concept. The only thing I wish, like, you boys know some of my shit's a little dirty or whatever you want to fucking call it.
Yeah.
The only thing I hate bombing, but part of me wants the buzzers to go off because I want to know that you think I'm disgusting, sort of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the two times that I've done it, that actually the first time I made it to, what do you get? You get
8 minutes.
8 minutes.
7.5, 8 minutes, yeah.
Okay, I think I made it to like 6.5, and I'm like, fuck, what am I going to... Like, I've done my dog bit, and he's loved it. Like, what else am I going to do? And then the second time I made it the full time, and I'm like, oh, I need to write some dirtier jokes.
Yeah. There's a bit of a key to it. We've realised after doing half dozen of those shows, and there's a couple of critical ingredients needed to it. It's something that you've got to cultivate, and you've got to definitely get the right venue for.
Yeah,
and so forth. But I mean, we was happy. I mean, those first three were sellouts, and they were just screamers of nights. And it was surprising to us, the comedians, that there was a couple that didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
We're actually frightened that it might have hurt their reputations by being bussed off.
Yeah.
Or their mental.
Yeah, or somewhat mental. But where we really crafted that concept was in the basis of it's focusing on entertaining the audience. Because I think sometimes this is where comedy goes a little wrong at open mic level, is that people come on, they've practiced their 5 minutes at home, they're intent on doing that material.
Yeah.
They're drilled for that and nothing else. Mm-hmm. And that's understandable, and they get up and they do it regardless of what's happening.
Yeah.
Whereas to turn your attention to the audience a little, and if you can lift your eyes, I guess, and sort of look what's going on, sometimes you can sort of catch the train, and catch the vibe of the room, and you can catch a good laugh out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like the Brad Pearson, crack Barbie. It was just a beauty. It was totally organic, and it happened, and it lit the room. And good on Brad. And he's an accomplished MC and a good comedian.
Yeah, definitely.
So, but what you're doing at Buzz Off is really trying to cultivate a entertainment focused comedian.
Yeah.
And what you're also trying to do is, when they really do bomb on a joke, you're trying to give them something. And Buzz Off really focuses on giving something to the comedian. Because if people have touched their buzzers, sometimes when you get a groan, sometimes comedians think that's a laugh. And sometimes it can be as good as a laugh. Maybe it's because as long as you can turn it around and twist it back.
Yeah.
But if you get buzzed, the crowd have told you something for free, that you get to learn that that's the end of the show.
Yeah.
And then you get to go away and work on that.
Yeah.
And for the comedians that recorded their material or whatever and want to look back on it, I think I would like to hope they got great value out of it. For what Luke and I were doing is just saying, hey.
For sure. Yeah, 'cause I remember...
I haven't had any negative feedback on it.
No.
Everyone said it's positive.
No, everyone loved it.
Yeah. I remember the times that I did it, you both came out to the green room or wherever we were, and you basically said that you're like, oh, this is a good way to gauge if your jokes do or don't work, sort of thing. Cause,
in ways,
Yeah. So, and up until, like, I don't know, without being a fucking arrogant tooting my own horn, within the last 12 months or so, I feel like I've taken a little leap to the next little level.
Yeah, good.
And I've started to realise that, okay, some of the shit I'm saying isn't funny, and I need to listen to what the crowd's saying and things like that. And even, I don't know, you guys probably don't remember, I got a relatively new shower head bit that I think I did it in a couple of your rooms. And there was one line in it that I did at Pimpamar and I did it at the Boathouse. And I'm like, this is a fucking funny line. The audience just doesn't understand it. Yeah. And then I did it. I had Good Chat a couple nights later and it was fucking sold out to the gills. And I did this same line and it, again, just silence. And I'm like, okay, it's not funny. Like,
and some of that we've enjoyed with having the 3 rooms because they're like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah.
And the Monday one for us is interesting because the only real room that's on Monday is Newmarket.
Yeah.
So we understand. We always say to people, "Hey, if you get a chance to do Newmarket and they pull out, we say, go and do Newmarket. This is what you should be doing. This is where you want to go.
Yeah.
This is where you want to take your comedy career. We're all behind you." Because some comedians ring up and say, "Oh, I feel really bad. I've got 5 minutes to Newmarket." We say, "No, go.
Yeah.
Go, do it. Do it. If you want to go better, you know, these guys are putting it on. Go for it."
Yeah.
So we're not against people, but we're also saying Boathouse is a great place to do and cultivate new material.
Definitely.
Too. And at the end of the day, when you're doing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, sometimes we're giving people, when we're booking, we intentionally see comedians who are really making the effort. And I say this to anyone listening, is if you're really making the effort, Luke and I, for our part, we think we notice and we try and help cultivate in the space for you.
Yep.
We don't think we're the be all and end all. We just think if we cultivate the space, sometimes if you can get 3 bookings and go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and you're trying out that joke like you're talking, then you're repeating it in 3 different places in a row, night after night, and then it's not working, then that's a pretty good indicator, and you've wrapped that all up in 1 week.
Definitely.
And so we encourage people to say, and almost the Boathouse is the rawest place you can do it, and Parkwood's a bit more sanitised, and Pimpamar's, you know, and they've got the crowd. So it's like, just let it go, let it happen, and see what you can do. And if you end up with a joke out of it, and you take the effort and time to write the material, hopefully you'll get a bit of a payoff out of that within a week.
Yeah, I had that exact chat with a couple of boys because I think there's 4 of us that are in a bit of a group chat, and we sort of throw premises around, and it's been good actually that people are like, oh, that's probably a bit fucked up. Like, don't say that in public. And we had a chat a couple of weeks ago that the way that you boys have set it up is perfect for us open micers to almost start with a premise on a Monday at a Boathouse. And if we can land a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday with you guys, by Wednesday, hopefully we've got You've got a bit of feedback from 3 different crowds. Yeah. It's fresh in your head. Yeah.
And if you want to tinker with it, well, come back and do it again. There's other places you're going.
For sure.
Like we come off a run. I think the most consecutive gigs we did after day, and we did a couple of doubles and triples is we did 15 gigs in a row.
Yeah, okay.
This year at one point, and it ended with us doing. It started with 3 gigs, and then it ended us with doing our own 3 gigs, and then we did a couple of doubles, and we did a triple on a Sunday. I think we did Big Fork, Bloodhound, Walrus.
Yeah,
and which are all, you know, all rooms with crowds and stuff brought in. A Big Fork had about 40 people. Bloodhound had 20-25, and Walrus was a sellout.
Yeah.
And I said to Luke, before we started, we knew we had those bookings, and we just said, well, let's try and muster in some new material, and we'll give it a run at 15 goes in a row if you want to. And the other thing is we were working our way up to those big shows sort of quarterly. Yeah. Is that we would work new material up to that show. That's the idea, is to work up to that show, pre-record that show in a professional setting, get a professional cameraman in to record that show, and then we'd have some reels which we released. Yeah. And some of which we haven't. And for us, it was kind of the discipline. I was like, no, if the joke works, be prepared to burn it on the internet and then force yourself to write some new stuff. So
definitely.
Hopefully it's working. We think we've gotten better over the years, but you know, we're not.
It's such
we don't think we're Carl Barron.
Exactly. That's the thing. It's such a shitty thing to be in. Like, you have to toot your horn, but at the same time, you just sound like such a cocky fuck.
If you don't toot it, no one else is going to.
Yeah, exactly. And that's like.
And that's right. That's right.
And that's the thing with me wanting to post a couple of clips this year is like, I feel like eventually you have to do it. And also the other reason for that is like my 10 minutes seems to be tight at the moment, and I need to stop myself from just doing that 10. So I need to burn some jokes.
Being comfortable.
Yeah. And like over the last, like, the break from work's been amazing. I've written so much new material and shit that I'm keen to try. And until I try it on stage, I'm like, at the moment, I'm like, this is great.
Oh, yeah, the last thing you wrote is the best thing. And I don't even mind, you know, like I say with this sketch we put up, it's our first one. I'm not going to bash myself up too hard about it, but we put it together. If it entertains a few people, hopefully it's topical and relevant to today. Will it stand the test of time? Who knows? But if a few people say it's fucked, I don't mind that.
Yeah.
Because sadly, it's the shitty Google reviews that probably make a better business.
Yeah, probably.
If you're prepared to accept them, rather than just say, "Oh, screw them. The audience is awful."
Yeah.
You know, or they don't get the joke. I mean, you really.
I've actually heard a few comics do that. They'll go, "The crowd was shit. They didn't get my jokes."
Yeah.
It's like, well, no, the crowd wasn't shit. Maybe just the way you delivered it.
Yeah.
Or
Your
timing was off, or maybe
exactly
just throw it out and
again another person. People and like both of you have given me advice over the years as well, and I've said it on the podcast before.
You can't sell it; it's worth nothing.
But another little gem that I got was from Freddie Foote one night at Kickstart, and all the open micers were out the back going, "Oh, it's a shitty crowd," blah blah blah, and he sort of stopped everyone and he goes, "It's not like you should be able to almost mold a crowd to where you want them, or you should have some joke that's going to break them and at least make them comfortable for the rest of your set," sort of thing. And I was like, again, I just hear weird things and it sticks in my head for some reason.
I agree with Freddie Foote. Like if one person, I mean, the other thing I took away early was that people want you to succeed.
Yeah.
They've had a shitty life, they've had a shitty day, they've had a car crash on the M1, who knows? Or they've been bitten on the dick.
Yep.
And
twice.
What happens is they make the effort to get off their ass and come out to a pub or wherever you're performing, do comedy, and there's one person in the crowd, and it's like, well, they came and they're staying. You kind of owe it to them to give them your best.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you're not going to give them your best, what are you doing?
Exactly.
And I also say to comedians, I say this, and it's a great testament. We was having Buzz Off, and Imogen Behan Willett, she was sick as a dog, poor girl. She was absolutely sick. And she said to me, she goes, she messaged me, she said, I don't feel well. And I said, well, you do what's right for you. I don't ever force anyone to perform. You do what you do, but, you know, it'll be appreciated if you know, how can we make this easier for you? And she said, I know it's random draw, but she said, if I could get on early and go, would that be okay? And I said, yeah, because I really applaud her attitude of actually, let's have a go.
Yeah.
Let's go and have a go.
For sure.
So we did the random draw and we just pulled her name out third. I said, do you want to go third? And that's what we'll do. So we pulled the random draw out, and whatever name was on that bit of paper was hers. And so we pulled her out, and she got up there, and she really impressed me because she did one amazing thing. She gave the best 8 minutes of her comedic life.
Yeah.
She looked like death warmed up when she got there. She gave the best 8 minutes I've seen her ever do, and the enthusiasm just wasn't any different to every time I've ever seen her perform.
Yeah, nice.
And then she got off, and she near dragged herself out the door.
Yeah.
And I just remember thanking her. I said, you know, I'm really impressed by you, just your ability to say, okay, I'm having a shitty night.
Yeah.
I don't feel well, and I'm not encouraging sick people to perform. I'm just saying, what was impressive about it is she gave her best 10 minutes to us.
Definitely.
And then she pulled out and went back to do what she did. But she showed up and she gave it. Now, if you think of all the people who go onto a professional level and they're booked out months and years in advance, like their 2024 dates are advertised, what do they do?
Yeah. I like to always spin it back to, and I don't know if it's a little bit too fucking fruity for you guys, but I don't know if you've seen the Katy Perry documentary.
No, I haven't.
Okay, so
I've only seen the bit where Russell Brand leaves her with the text.
That's it, yeah. So she's on the launching pad to go up on stage to perform to thousands of people. Russell Brand sends her a text message saying, I want to get divorced. She's bawling her eyes out, and they're like, all right, Katie, you got to go up.
She's laying on a table and she can't even move.
Yeah, she can't move. She can't do anything. She drops her phone. The lift goes up, and she just like clicks her fingers or something.
And she's Katy Perry.
She's Katy Perry for this whole performance. And I'm like, that's fucking crazy.
And that's the bit of like the Beyonce book. I read the Beyonce book. The
also known as the Subaru Forester Hand Guide.
Yeah. You probably also noticed the hand action.
Yeah.
Put a ring on it. But I mean, it's the same thing. It's like these people create a persona. In her case, the old Sasha Fierce, and they just go on stage, drop the drawbridge on themselves, and say, "I am."
Yeah.
And on they go.
Totally know how they feel.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to say. Nowhere near to the extent they feel. But I've said it on the podcast as well. 9 times out of 10, when I leave this house, both kids are screaming. My missus is angry at me because I'm leaving to go tell fucking dick jokes for 5 minutes on the other side of Brisbane.
To strangers.
Yeah, to strangers that are probably going to hate what I'm going to say. But as soon as I hit that stage, I'm like, it sucks, but it's half worth it, if that makes sense. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But, yeah, fucking luckily for me, though, she's so supportive and fucking...
On your podcast, which is an amazing achievement, I might add.
Comes on here and roasts me every second week.
Yeah, I know. There's a bit of vengeance.
There is. Have you got anything else to throw out while we got you? I think we've covered a lot. We've covered Diablos. We've covered
pretty good.
Buzz Off.
We, as I said, we had a big 2023. We, as I said, we did nearly 200 gigs each.
Yep.
58 of those gigs were ours. Just recapping numbers.
Yep.
And we're really happy about what we achieved in that. But we're keen to make 2024 a big one.
For sure.
We've got some other rooms that we're in discussions with.
Okay, that's cool.
And Buzz Off, we're looking to relaunch that in 24. We just think there's two things we like about it. One is it's entertainment focused.
Yep.
And the other is that it gives probably double the opportunity to comedians.
Mm-hmm.
One is within the performance to entertain and also focus on their work.
Yep.
And the other is it's double the number. We
Yeah,
normally utilise double the number of comedians we do for a normal show. So
Yeah,
actually,
definitely.
Within 3 shows we racked up 48 performances,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
which is 48 spots,
Yeah.
which is great. Like last year it worked out we gave out nearly verging on 500 spots
Okay.
out of Diablos, out of this little venture that we started. So
It's nuts, isn't it?
yeah. I mean, Luke and I work together well. We don't consider the work a 50-50
Mm-hmm.
proposition because I just don't get involved in some of the things that Luke does within that business frame, and he doesn't get involved in some things I do within the business frame. We just know that that's our job. I think we discussed for anyone getting into a comedy partnership or the like, they're always welcome to call us.
Yeah.
And have a chat to either of us, I'm sure.
What I also like with the way you two run everything, I don't know how you do it or whatever, but I can be messaging Mick about something and all of a sudden Luke already knows about it or something, or like I'll rock up to a gig and I would have organised it with Luke and Mick already knows fucking, James is here to do fucking 7 minutes, and it just feels like almost the two people are messaging the one person and I know the other person's going to know what's going on.
Talk about you, boy.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's because
Jimmy wants to come and do his fucking dog bit again.
And if we can throw a plug out, we talk about Mamone and Fowler turning on their backs, and we did before this started.
Yeah, 100%.
Let's not start another war.
100%.
But no, we do. We have open lines of communication.
Yeah.
I know it sounds corny, and I do say comedy wife, but it does feel like that some days.
Yeah, for sure.
Is that literally we do communicate daily.
Yeah.
Lots of the time daily. But generally, as it comes to spots and that, we sort of advertise them open, and then we try and close them.
Yep.
Because it's just we're working to normal day jobs, so there's a lot of over adminning if you let it get that way.
Definitely.
And we've got a system, and it works, and we know it's not for other people because there's a lot of handling, but we know it works.
Yeah.
So we're happy to stick to it. Whereas other people might use spreadsheets.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of Google Sheets. I understand why the big clubs would do the Google Sheets because of the amount of inquiries they get.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the send me a Google Sheet.
Yeah.
I can attest to this, I hope, is that everyone that's ever messaged us about a room, I would say 99.9% of the time, unless I've been sick or crook or there's something going on with my family, we've always gotten back to people.
Yeah, I've never had an issue yet, and I haven't heard of anyone else.
We've tried to do it in a timely manner. Sometimes we can't because we've got that much inquiry over a
Definitely,
room.
yeah.
And that's not blowing Trump. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes it doesn't. But a lot of the time it does. So you get a lot of inquiry. We seem to be able to work with a lot of people. I think we've been through nearly 120 different comedians through our rooms, and we want to thank them while we've got the chance.
Yep.
But yeah, no, for their time and talent. And we like to say thank you when people have come and done the shows.
Yeah,
we
definitely.
see it as a mutual exchange. I think you give your time and talent. We get the fortune and privilege of running the room, and they get the spot, and everyone walks away and no one owes anyone anything. That's always the tone that we've taken with rooms.
For sure.
We've been comics, open mic comics, for years, and we've trudged through different rooms, and we've seen things that we've really loved, and we've seen things we haven't, and we think we'd like to know we're comfortable with how we'd like to be treated, so that's how we sort of work.
Yeah, definitely.
That's our philosophy on how we work.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we think we provide without sounding too corny, a pretty reasonable space to
Yeah,
do comedy.
I love doing your rooms. I haven't heard a bad word personally. Everyone I know that I talk to in the community loves doing your rooms, and
I'm sure they would.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, if they had something to
definitely.
say, and they'd openly voice, and I hope if they had a problem, they'd openly voice to us. I'm sure there's a handful of people. We can't please everybody, and
Yeah.
I know that some people have a bad day, and there's nothing to do with us too. When a lot of people, you know, if they're angry about things, often it's not the person you're projecting it onto.
100%.
So we
Yeah,
don't take it too personally
Question
if
for you.
people did.
yeah.
When are you going to get Bill Cosby on?
I'm keen to get him on.
Yeah, I reckon he'd go well. I mean,
Yeah.
like, you may not remember anything that happened.
Yeah, yeah. What's your can't get anywhere story, Bill?
Exactly.
Yeah, fucking
I
hell.
spent 2 months in prison.
Yeah, I can top
Yeah.
you. I once spoke to a bloke that got his dick bitten by a toadfish.
I can't,
Twice.
I can't do a Bill Cosby, but if I did, I'd say, well, I'd like to say.
Oh man, I used to watch the Brown Hornet.
Really?
Yeah,
I
Bill Cosby show.
I've never seen.
Fat Albert.
I've never seen anything Bill Cosby at all. The only reason I've got that is because Ash, that I started the podcast with, he moved to the sunny coast.
Yeah.
He was clearing out his garage. He bought like this old Mac fucking computer.
I like it.
He bought that, and he also bought a comic book over there, which isn't on display because it's considered Nazi memorabilia. So
Well, we'll have to have a look at it.
yeah,
You've come back to
let me be the judge of that.
I've
Come back to one
got
thing.
some
Can we-
stamps from World War II that got Hitler all over it.
Yeah, nice.
Collectors.
Can we finish on this?
Yeah.
Because this is something that probably doesn't happen at open mic level, but I do love it,
Okay.
is impressions. Like, no one's probably at a stage where they're confident enough to do an impression.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of it, do you?
You don't see a lot of it. And
Blackface,
when-
anyone?
And then the odd time you do see it, you know, it can vary.
Yeah.
But it's not so bad. But and I always challenge Luke to this: is there an impression that you can do, or is there anyone you can do an impression of?
I don't think so. Every now and then I can tap into like South Park characters, but I have to be almost watching. Yeah.
Have another drink.
Yeah.
Come on, give us.
Last week's episode, I was pretty drunk and I was doing a little bit of Cartman here and there, but it wasn't good Cartman.
Go on, do a dog fingering joke for this Cartman. I want to see this.
I don't know if I can.
Oh,
Can you guys
that
do?
episode where
I've got
Cartman's
one.
What have you got?
So you do one, I'll do mine.
Oh fuck! I feel like I'm.
I'll tell you who mine is.
Yeah, go.
I'll tell you who
Yeah,
I absolutely love his voice and know that it's not his.
Okay.
It's him doing an impression of something.
Oh, what is it?
Gilbert Gottfried.
Okay, yeah.
I love Gilbert.
Yeah.
I love listening to Gilbert Gottfried. It's just like, and so I've been working on this.
Yeah, go.
No.
All right.
No, you got to get your Cartman out. And
All
get
right.
Gilbert Gottfried.
Yeah, come it. Oh no, that's more fucking. All right. Okay, it's not going to be Cartman, but it's going to be South Parky. Yeah, come on, guys. This is. Oh no, I
Sounds
can't.
like
I can't. Yeah, I can't fucking do it.
I reckon I've got to take the
Go.
Take the headphones off to do it.
Okay, yeah, that's cool.
What was the fish? The bitcher?
Toadfish.
Toadfish, yeah.
Righto. Let me have a go.
Here we go.
Gilbert Gottfried.
Okay.
Okay. Luke Lewis got bitten on the dick by a toadfish. A toadfish. That fish is traumatized.
That's not bad.
It's
Wasn't
terrible,
too
good.
traumatised. Came back in seconds.
but it's still a terrible.
Yeah.
It's still terrible because it's off the count, but it's still a terrible impression. But I would love to
Yeah,
see.
it'd be. Now that you mention it, I don't think I've seen any.
I would love to see more open mic comedians have a go at a good impression because I reckon they're in there. They just don't have the confidence.
That's
to,
the thing. Like, if I'm drunk with mates, I'll be dropping like impersonations everywhere.
Who do you think is the best one you do? Just impersonating someone's voice.
I don't know.
Like it could be Bob Hawke or it could be.
No, I don't do any of that. It's more like cartoons and stuff that I watch.
Or lines.
Oh,
from movies.
yeah, my barber that I used to go to, he used to just be able to nail every cartoon character, and it was
He was
crazy.
like the Mel Blanc, and he was a barber.
Yeah,
Fuck.
for sure.
Poor bastard.
Fucking
Luke?
hell. Yeah, Luke, who you got over there?
Oh fuck! I used to do a heap when I was a kid, but it's one of those things you
Yeah, I know.
keep doing it. Fuck.
This is my impression
I
of
don't
it.
know. Off Fat Albert, one of the characters. Hobadooba Fab Albert.
Anyway, we're just putting it out there. So
Yeah.
if you come into our rooms, we'd like to see more impressions.
100%.
We'd like to see more bad attempts at impressions because if you get it right, It's amazing.
I'm trying to think.
If you get it wrong, it's amazing.
I'm trying to think of people I definitely know listen to the podcast, but fucking it's slipping
Joe
my mind.
Rogan?
Yeah, Joe Rogan. If you're doing a Diablos room next week, drop a fucking impression.
The
Hashtag
mothership.
Bill Cosby.
Hey, see us at the mothership with
Fucking
our
oath.
impressions, yeah.
When are you boys kicking back off?
So we kick off next week.
Yep.
15th? Monday the...
15th, I think it is.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Monday the 15th
Yep.
at the Boathouse, and then 16th Parkwood and 17th Pimpamar
Beautiful.
Wednesday. So yeah, we're back into. We've had a 4-week break, which has been lovely, but yeah, we'll put the sign-out sheets
Yeah.
on Briz Gigs,
Perfect.
along with probably launching our little skit with Jimmy Messon and Can't Get Any Worse.
Fuck yeah.
Podcast.
Love it, boys. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for all the opportunities you're giving young comedians like me out there. And
Oh well, for a stepping stone, mate. That's all we can ever be
Yeah.
to people. Is that if we play a small part?
We're just
we are
looking
people.
for a really good comic to come through so we can ride their coach.
yeah, fucking yeah.
For the,
Here I am, boys.
for the rest of their career, we'll say Jimmy Misson.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
ours.
Yep.
No,
Here's
no.
a clip of him dropping the N-word at the boathouse.
We don't condone any of that sort of
Nah.
he's ours business. We're
Yep,
just
yep.
like we're a stepping stone. Any good comedian going around, and you look at the up and comers. You look at guys like Jared Fitzpatrick.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even yourself, but you look at Jared Fitzpatrick and you look at EJ Mann, and these comedians really coming along. And,
Yep.
Ben Hunter's another young guy that's
Yeah.
talented, and I mean Peter James, guys like Peter James. I mean, there's that much talent in that bloke.
Yeah,
You can't understand why someone has nabbed him now and
definitely.
and made him a household name.
For sure.
Absolutely, we had him do a big show earlier this year. We were just thrilled.
Mm-hmm.
We were just absolutely thrilled. Peter James come down and
Oh,
we
first
just
of all, that's very professional.
we're
guy.
just
Yeah. That's the
Top
thing.
bloke
Like,
too,
I'd love to get Peter James is one of my favourites, and I'd love to get him in here for an hour and just fucking shoot the shit with him. But it's so. It's like the bombing thing that I've got to get over. It's just like send the message. Like he might say yes, or he might say.
But he's that guy's like got a 6-shooter.
Oh yeah,
in
yeah,
his brain. And
yeah.
I reckon you can throw a can up in the air
Yeah.
and he just shoots 6 jokes into it before it hit the ground.
Definitely.
He's amazing, and we were very lucky to have him, and we appreciated what he did with us and for us.
Yeah,
Because we
100%.
asked him a few questions later, and he gave us some great pointers. So yeah, I can't be too excited. I think it's great that there's that talent coming through out of
Definitely.
Brisbane and Southeast Queensland.
For sure.
And so yeah, good, more power to them.
Beautiful. All right, thanks for coming in, boys, and
Pleasure.
see you at a show soon.
Yep,
Absolutely.
See you later.